Just. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Wait. Is that a yes man? Yeah. It's been a while since I've heard your voice. I guess I almost forgot what you sounded like. Are you okay? Yeah. I mean, you didn't get up to no good during your break, did you? Yes. Oh my God.
Oh wow.
I mean, that sounds awful. I mean, did you do anything irresponsible?
Yes.
Maybe even something illegal?
Did you do the drugs?
Yes.
Did you rob a bank?
Did you kill a guy?
Yes.
Did you send dick pics to a minor? All right, prank call, cut him off.
And we were that one was being recorded.
That dude's fucked up. He's off the show.
Oh, man.
All right, let's take a look.
Oh wait, I'm getting a text from the Yes Men. He's like, wait, you mean the guys with the lamps on their head?
Like the Chileans.
Yeah. Oh, got it.
No, he's like pickaxe. He's really into pickaxes.
Okay. Yeah, guys. No need to cancel the Yes Man. Everything's fine.
No. It's an actual worker. You know, the ones with the canaries and whatnot.
The ones with the canaries. They're walking around singing zippity doo dah, canaries all around them.
Wait.
Were
the dwarves?
No, Zippity Doo Dah is from Song of the South, where Uncle Remus was walking around with birds swinging their dicks.
Let's take a look at some show titles at nightattack.show.tv, including our top ones, like Hot Bar Mitzvah Jams.
Hot Bar Mitzvah Jams?
Okay. My Justin, and Justin.
That's not bad.
Clack Squarespace, a very good little joke. Right said, what? The extended Catwalk universe is very good. I'm clicking that one.
That one could go. I like it.
Magic Justin George, Kaiser Snorze.
I like Magic Justin George.
Kaiser Snorze was something very funny.
Drunk is Forever, You're Loud, Please Watch the Show, It's All Obama's Fart.
That was during the Rushmo, yeah.
The Night Attack Wikipedia page, The Breakup.
It's about Yoda?
It's about Yoda. Deeply Dippy is very good. That'll be in the show notes if it's not in the...
Spoiler alert, it'll be what opens next week's show.
Deeply Dippy.
Quackane.
Oh,
we're resting.
Quackane. Y'all want to have some Quackane?
Let's see. Confident in my... some of these are pre-show things. The whole plane clapped. That was a...
That was pre-show too.
Yeah. We're getting into pre-show things. Let's look at the top here.
God, that thing that writes boner fiction.
So good.
That's amazing.
We'll
that
play
robot.
With it some more. I like Extended Catwalk Universe.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Kaiser Snorze gets its moment, and Magic Justin George is a pre-show bit.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, because I said...
Oh, that's right. Okay, so that was a misspeak. Yeah. I could go... I like Extended Catwalk Universe a little bit better.
Cool.
Although Kaiser Snorze... If you're just looking at titles, that makes sense in a way that.
That's true. That's more really? Approachable. Like, well, because somebody either is a person who snores or has a loved one who snores, so they know it's going to be some kind of bit about snoring, which we do deliver on.
So it's like, it's Kaiser Soze, but he's snoring. Like, even if you don't have no idea, you're like, wait, is he sleepy? Mm-hmm. Is Kevin Spacey sleepy? Probably. I'm regretting bringing up Kevin Spacey. This is not me, the person on the show. This is me looking.
Turn the Yes Man filter back on. Turn the Yes Man music voice back on.
Who do you think the Yes Man has been this whole time? What a twist.
I guess I could go either way. Kaiser Snorze gets its own shout out in the show, so I think.
Fuck it. Let's go with the Extended Catwalk universe. That's also funny. That's a funny idea. Even if you don't know that it's about Right Said Fred.
Thank you to Bobcat and Next Modem and Scooping Over Girl and everyone who's shut out using the biggest command in the chat room. I'm gonna write an email.
Hey, Brian.
Yep.
I spent a lot of time in Austin.
Yeah. How'd you like it?
Since the last time that I guess we did the 2 shows while I was in Austin, but
did you like the part where it was over 100 degrees every fucking day?
I actually did.
Really?
I missed that bit. Yeah.
Well,
that's really like what I grew up in, right? Like I'm kind of used to that, and there's something comforting to me about the extreme hot outside versus extreme cold indoors. Like that is something that like just does not exist in my life in California that I like. Again,
no. I think what you're describing is like you get in your car and the AC is always to 100%. It's never not at 100%. Even when it is unpleasantly cold in the car, you leave it that because now you know that you're pre-gaming for that experience of when you arrive at your destination, and there's that brief moment that you open the door and it's 94 degrees, and for one insane moment you think, oh, that's nice. Because now you're getting warm, and you know you have about 30 seconds before it becomes unpleasant, and you make it inside where, again, it's civilized air conditioning.
That's one of the things that Ashley always makes fun of me for, because I always turn up air conditioning so fucking low, so it's like just like always blasting on you. And she's like, oh, aren't you from Florida? Like, don't you like the heat? And it's like, no, you don't get it. It's hot outside. So it's always fucking like absolutely frigid inside, because that's the point.
Yeah. So you would have loved today's weather because it was a little bit humid. We had rain. We had lots of clouds. So it's like, the sun's on you. It feels 94 for a bit. And then you're under a cloud and it feels a high 80s or whatever. And then a nice breeze the entire time. It's finally getting to the end, and unfortunately we're gonna have like 3 days of nice weather, and then it's gonna go back to that just what I hate is that still air, no wind, no clouds, just past 100, and it's like you go out past 4 o'clock and you're like, god damn it, like what is anybody supposed to do with this?
What the fuck's the point? You just shake your fist at God and you're like, what the fuck, what are you up to, mister?
It rained. It also rained. It's kind of stormed for like a minute.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. It was fun to drive out of it and see it from a distance, and then drive back into it.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice.
I had to run kids around today.
Can I tell this story?
Yeah.
Of when I was in Austin, and I forget what day of the week it was, but me and you were hanging out at the property. And then like we're just bullshitting and talking and drinking beer, and I think that was like the night we watched like The Righteous Gemstones or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then I got a rare privilege. In fact, I don't know if anybody else will have the privilege that I had with Brian Brushwood at this property that he's poured so much money into and has been a vision, where I saw for the first time it dawn on Brian's face that, oh wait, it's like late enough that no one's up at my house. Like I can just wake up and roll over there in the morning. Wait a minute. There's a room with a bed, and Justin doesn't give a fuck how much I snore. Like, let's just keep drinking beer and talking, and then I'm just gonna go to sleep in this empty room in this house that I own.
There was definitely
it was glee. It was like a ripple of just excitement that like not only was he so happy, but that this happiness was the future.
It was the beginning. It was like that moment in Fight Club where once they got corporate sponsorship, it was like, we could have Fight Club every night. This is amazing.
But that is, I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, between the fact that you'll be able to sleep in a room in your own house without bothering people, and that you have space at the compound now, like that's like a game changer for you, right?
Yeah, it really is, and it's a game changer for productivity. We've already had a couple of guests crash before we got everything done, and just getting a taste of what it's like to have talented other people and make it easy and fun for them to come and collaborate. I mean, it's a big gamble, but it seems so obvious that that bringing in talented folks from all over the country would be a good idea.
I mean, certainly. And man, once you guys build out that studio, like there's I don't know.
That studio is that difference of sound just with what we have so far, and there's more to come.
The sound treatment, because it was a big echo box.
Yeah.
But now we've added a bunch of sound treatment. Yeah, it's good. It'll be interesting when we go in and kind of do this format, because like with the Modern Rogue stuff, we do a ton of like audio cleanup on stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think it probably won't look too different, or it won't sound too different. But it'll be cool. I'm excited.
You don't think it'll sound too different from here, or from how before the treatment?
From here.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
From here. Yeah.
Yeah, and part of that is because the Heil PR480s are just supernatural in their ability to only listen to what's right here.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we'll have a monitor. We'll probably need to have a monitor system for the two of us if we're further than 10 feet away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be
and,
cool.
and at first I think we'll just set this twofold as just to it will not
look very different.
Right. We'll sort of just box everything so it's roughly this size until we figure out what to do with all the space. Because now, if we just ran in there right now, it's like, why are you just sad and alone in a warehouse?
Right.
You know?
So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Are you excited, Bryce, to tear down everything and then rebuild it? Because like ultimately, like we're all talking about like, oh, this like inevitable tectonic shift that's happening, but in reality, that means, the when we stop doing the shows in that room and start doing them in the studio is totally dependent on Bryce saying, okay, here's the day that I'm going to rip all this equipment out, and now there's a ticking clock that it has to be working at a certain level by the next time that we need to start broadcasting.
I mean, I think it's a much shorter time than you would expect.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe 2 hours of teardown here. 2 hours
maybe
of transport.
a couple of trips just in terms of like, this desk is big, if we take that desk over, that's big.
But I think we're gonna hire actual movers, because we're gonna we're gonna move the arcade cabinets, we're gonna move that, we're gonna move the washer dryer out there.
Oh wow! So that'll take care of all the big stuff, and then like setting this stuff up. Like part of it is like it's the thing that takes the longest is doing all the video presets and stuff for the software, and so we have all that stuff.
So in the short term, we're going to be using the same computers, although those will be replaced soon as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, upgraded.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, a lot of this stuff is we've got files and stuff, and so I think probably the big, I guess just the fact that there are 3 computers that need to be set up might be a good amount of time. But the other thing is, I've talked about it a lot, and I want to redo how we have audio routing going on right now, and so that'll be a lot of like trial and error, but honestly,
like just to get to functional.
That's more, look, the physical moving of the boxes are what they are. You could do that shit tonight, right? You can just do a couple trips in whatever cars and throw it in the back of the Jeep.
Yeah.
The real bitch is making sure that everything, whenever you're going from analog to digital, you're always just making sure everything sounds the way you want it, is broadcasting the way you want it. Like, there's always something that goes wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
And so if people aren't kind of aware of how we do audio stuff now, it's, kind of this holdover from back when Brian initially set it up, where, everything goes through this mixer and out of this mixer. So the big thing being Skype. So when Justin sends us his signal, it goes into the mixer, and then that signal goes back to Justin, which is certainly not clean, a not super clean way to do audio. And the nice thing about Skype is Skype knows how to clean all of that stuff up, more or less. But once we,
it is the reason why we use Skype.
Yeah,
is because both of us, because I built my rig with the same idea in mind, that I was running all of my audio both in and out, so I can. And the reason why you do it is because when you're doing one-man band shit, then you want to be able to just super easily on your faders come up and down on system audio.
Right.
But when you have a TD like Bryce is, who's running point on everything, less of a problem, right? Like you have just more hands to deal with stuff.
Right. So I'm looking at a couple of different things. Voice meter will probably be central to all of that, which is this really great digital mixer. We had been talking about maybe getting possibly getting a new mixer or mixer type device. That'll probably be a later thing. Bringing in a MIDI, just a MIDI mixer, just to control the digital side with voice meter. But I think none of this is out of reach. It's just a matter of putting it all together and making sure everything points in the right way. And so that'll be some trial and error. But I think even then that'll be less than a day. That'll be something where, because I do that with my own audio setup is like totally different than all of this, and that's what I'm gonna base this off of. And so I already kind of know how it works, and so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I certainly do not hope that it'll be a larger thing.
No.
But also,
but stuff happens.
Stuff happens. All I'm saying is just let's build in, like, let's all hope. Let's all hope that this is totally done, and then immediately, like, within 4 hours of everybody getting there, it's all plugged in. You're doing the first test stream from the studio, and all the mics work, and everything sounds good, and everything's working. Like, and then the rest of the week, everybody's high-fiving because there's nothing else to do because everything worked on time.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the way we have stuff, I mean, we do, like, we front load the week with the podcasts, but also we have there are scheduled things where it'll be pretty easy to find enough time in one chunk to
because it would be like a Wednesday, right? So I mean, this is kind of the end of your podcasting week, right?
Well, but I also do most of my editing for Scam Nation on Wednesdays, so it would be like a Thursday or Friday thing.
So a Thursday
or a weekend if we have a Modern Rogue weekend off. But
I mean, but even then, it's like, the moving could happen on a Wednesday, and then you just show up and plug everything in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Hey. So yeah, keep an eye out, folks.
Dude, it's wild, man. I can't tell you how excited I am about that gigantic ass room.
Dude, I love the idea of some crazy diamond clubber coming on out and just us pulling out all the stops and just make it a Brian and Justin jamboree for the whole day.
By pulling out all the stops, he means that you get the center seat between Brian and I at Torchies.
That's absolutely right. Oh my goodness. Hey, we have been off the air for we had not been doing. It's been a minute, and Stephen Cogswell actually went and made a new song every week for us. So he has 2 more songs.
Oh my God, let's go.
Okay, this one is $20. This is also at otfee.com/escalation. It's called $20. This is from our banked episode with Brett Weaver.
All right, here we go.
Hello, citizen. Well, hello, citizen. Panty
George
pudding.
Lowe.
Hello, citizen. Hello, citizen. Do one more. Hello, citizen. With all this panty pudding.
Wait.
Oh, shit!
So what you're saying is I'm not going to get $20 for an autograph.
The comedy came when it got sadder. It wasn't the absurdity that somebody was asking. It only got funny when there was a real victim. Didn't expect that.
Come see Titty Virgins.
High quality titty virgins.
Titty virgin.
Titties that have never been touched.
They give you fucking money for free. It's great.
Dude, Brett had a great time. He really enjoyed doing that show.
Oh, good.
And he already is like, I love it when somebody assumes the sale and says, next time I come on.
Yeah.
He goes, next time I should come, I should bring EK. And then
Oh, God.
and sit her down right next to Bryce. And have her play the games. No, it was really great.
He was fantastic.
Oh no,
he was so awesome, and I'm so glad we were able to talk him in to coming on, because initially he was like, I mean, he was hanging out at the property, and it was like just like a rad hang, and it was awesome that he was there. And then like I kind of did he was like on the fence, and then I kind of was like, nah, man, you're coming. Like, which I met him like 5 seconds ago. But I kind of, just because like there was like a really good vibe going, and I'm like, come on. And also I knew that, like, especially for a bank episode, if Brian and I can have somebody else that is talking, it's like, oh shit, I don't even have to try. Like, this will just be easy.
Yeah. And it was like there was one momentary lull where things weren't on rails, and we didn't have any of that. 5 years ago or 10 years ago, certainly we would have had a panic moment of like, what do we talk about next? But instead it's like just a breezy change of like, I don't know what else is going on, let's go. And then it was great.
Holy shit, Reject brings this up. So I'm looking at my podcast feed, and I see your friend of mine, Andrew Heaton.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Put out a podcast called Grover Norquist at Burning Man.
I think he says
Bryce,
goes to Burning Man. Like, which when I
whatever.
read it, I thought it was a fake made up movie.
Bryce, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you know who Grover Norquist is?
No, he sounds like a Sesame Street character that really loves sleeping medicine.
You're not far off. He's famous amongst conservative and libertarian circles because he has invented and puts public pressure on politicians, conservative politicians, I guess all politicians, but conservatives are the ones who sign it, a non-tax raising pledge that when you get into office, you cannot raise taxes or else you have violated a pledge that you have signed. It is pretty much like step one if you're running for office as a Republican, basically.
Okay.
So, like Brian, I read that title and I think, because I know Andrew Heaton is actually at Burning Man, that he is telling a fun story of what it's like to be Andrew Heaton at Burning Man. That he's like this weird, because like I almost even texted him something when we were, I texted you, Bryce, a thing that we could do as a game, which was the misconnections from Craigslist that happened after Burning Man. And it's like, you were on your way to the orgy dome while I was making beads, and you had a beautiful smile and your name was Sunshine or something. So I was like, I was about to text that to Andrew Heaton and just be like, you were on your way to the orgy dome. I was explaining why Scandinavian socialism isn't exactly the way that Bernie Sanders would like to have it believe. So I'm like, all right, okay, this is
so he's going to do a bit, or because he does a lot of comedy fiction writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a fucking 40-minute interview with the real Grover Norquist at Burning Man.
Who has been going since Burning Man 1 and personally knows the guy and the story.
The man who gets burnt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, Grover Norquist, apparently thriving stand-up comedian.
What?
Yes. They spent 20 minutes.
So much about Grover Norquist. I think Grover Norquist is a way cooler person after listening to this podcast, because I only knew him for the no tax pledge. And then as soon at the very end, he goes into his like, and this is why the no tax pledge is very. I'm like, oh, but you're really Grover Norquist. That was doing the first 37 minutes of this interview.
Wow,
it was amazing, and like it's 20 or 30 minutes of deconstructing what a good opener is and how you deal with crowds and stuff. I mean, it's like
they really went into comedy theory.
It's that next level that only touring pros talk, and so he talked the talk, and then there was that brief moment where it's like, oh, you would think, Andrew brings up like, man, I was surprised that you were a Burning Man person. Did you get any pushback or whatever? And he's like, well, there was a bit of media flurry, but anybody who's ever been to Burning Man knows that one of our core tenets is radical inclusion. Mm-hmm. And so anybody who's actually been there would be like, yeah, no, of course, we want to hear everything, all your crazy stuff. And it's only media people who had never been to Burning Man that thought like, well, this is messed up, ruined that stuff. It was a great episode, and specifically there's this brief moment that Andrew goes into. He says, look, I spent the whole time stone sober here, but I did have some weird Burning Man thoughts. So he goes into basically high thoughts. Of all of his high thoughts, my favorite was he would like to, he said, yeah, I'm going to mangle it, but he says some version of, I'd like to believe, every time I watch curling, I'd like to believe I'm watching two men tease a Roomba by sweeping before it can.
Wow. Guess that explains all the clowns in Washington. Very cool.
No,
That's Political Orphanage, right? That's the name of his podcast now?
The Political
Orphanage. Yeah, go. I mean, look, I don't know if you'll like it because you may or may not like just cotton to the general concept of Grover Norquist, but considering where I came from, where I thought he was making a joke, and then Grover Norquist is a fucking like 8-year burner, like that was a fun. That was in my the gray area of the Venn diagram of my interest.
The episode before that is the one where he interviews Dave Barry, and he does a segment about how, you know, he's on the road to Burning Man, and so he wants to break down the 5 types of hitchhikers that you could pick up. And he goes into type number 1, and the moment he says type number 1, I'm like, oh, how long is this going to take? But type number 1 is the jaunty hobo, and he describes him, you know, as cooking beans on an open flame on the wheel well in front, and you know, and singing songs and stuff. Type number 2 are porn stars who
bang bus girl.
Yeah, exactly. So and so, you know, constantly he explains that the best tactic is, you know, if you pick up one, pick up another one as fast as possible, so at least the two of them keep each other occupied. They keep wanting to take off their clothes. Type number 3 is like a ghost. Type number 3 is ghosts. And he talks about all the times
it's a young girl in the middle of the road and your car crashes and your daughter's gone.
Well, those are annoying because you get to the destination and there's, you know, like you pick up a greaser and he's like, hey man, I just want to go to Lover's Hill, and then you get there and then he's gone because he was a ghost, and then you knock on the door and there's a 90-year-old woman who's like, what? I haven't heard that name since the 1950s when my boyfriend died. And then number 4 was axe murderers, and he was like, you got to set boundaries with axe murderers. He's like, you'll notice there's an axe rack on top, that's where that goes. And then but the payoff is the 5th one and of course the 5th one is those people who claim that they're not hitchhiking, but they're just like, no, get in the car, I'll take you there. And they're constantly saying, no, seriously, I'm not hitchhiking, please let me go.
That's funny.
Yeah, his shit is so fucking good. And I know because he's been on the road, he's just had these like banked episodes, these big interviews, or I guess like the Grover Norquist one he obviously did at Burning Man. But I don't know. I've texted him about it, but I really just want him to like spread like in the shows where he has like obviously like a couple segments, or like when the episodes that we've been on, Brian, where it's like, you know, he has us on that is fairly segmented. It's like he's talking to us about one thing, then about another thing. I'm like, intersperse that comedy in there. Like you got like a couple different bits, like, you know, give it a little variety show.
I don't know, man. I don't know that breaking up even for one joke that Grover Norquist stuff would have been.
No. That's what I'm saying. With these, I get it. With like Grover Norquist at Burning Man, with fucking Dave Barry, where it's obviously like a hero kind of thing.
But when it's us, like find a pause in the conversation and put some real humor in there.
Like weave it in, because it's like he always like comes in so hot with the comedy, and I don't think he realizes how fucking electric that shit is, because it's like that's caviar. Like, don't be afraid to disperse it, like a little dab will do you throughout like the whole thing.
God, that bit of like a snake carrying case that's transparent.
Yeah, no, his shit is fucking, I don't know. It's great. And by the way, it's only gotten weirder and more fucked up. I do not think he'd be doing fucking bang bust jokes on the Blaze. Yeah. He's doing bang bust jokes now, and they're fucking really funny.
Please continue to listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, no. Look, man, join the family, man.
Infinite time.
Rising tide.
Yeah, whatever. Give up on one of those other popular podcasts you like.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, don't stop this one. Keep listening while you search his.
You want to see Matt Donnelly's bit?
Yeah, I do.
Let me.
By the way, this all came from somebody saying, "Can we have Andrew Heaton on the show?" Number one, we've had Andrew Heaton on the show a couple times, but we'll be more than happy to have him as soon as he stops traveling the fucking globe like a goddamn secret agent.
Can I tell you one of my favorite moments was, and I don't remember the words, but the sentiment was very clearly some version of, I got to be honest, I mean, I'm looking at all these names, and I'm starting to think that more people are following my stuff and joining my Patreon from Night Attack than from The Blaze. And I'm like, yeah, because we're kind of better at it than they are. like we're fucking great.
All right.
Well, and also, it's like, I mean, welcome home, brother.
Look, man,
you belonged in one family more than you belonged in another family.
All right, here you go. The Matt Donnelly Mind Noodler absolutely kills Penn and Teller on Foolus.
We're back and ready for more Foolers. Here's one now.
Hey, I'm Matt Donnelly, and I have no business being a professional magician. I started as an improviser, improv comedy. I moved to Las Vegas, and as luck would have it, became friends with Penn. So I co-host Penn's podcast, and I've been doing that for about 6 years. I got into magic on a dare. I kind of was mouthing off and saying, like, I should just learn a trick. And Penn said, you're right, you should. I basically went to every working magician I knew and asked them if they'd teach me one trick. I started combining my comedy with my magic, and it took off quickly. Ta-da!
You do know they do this for a living, right?
I think it's hilarious to go on Foolus and mess with my friends. Do I expect them to be really surprised? Absolutely.
That was carefully phrased.
Can we pause right there?
Pause.
Number one, what a flex by Matt to have a cameo in his character intro. Fucking real. Like, who else in the history of Fool Us is like, no, I'm going to call in a favor of a more famous magician to be in my, like, who am I intro reel.
It's pretty great.
It's fucking amazing. What a flex. I love it.
Hello, I'm Matt Donnelly. I am a mind noodler, which is not a mind reader. It's like a mind reader plus, okay? First step of being a mind noodler is reading minds. That's easy, right? What's your name?
Morgan.
Morgan, I knew that. I read your mind. No problem. And right over there, I can read Penn's mind. He's thinking, what the hell's Matt doing up there? I can read Teller's mind. He's thinking, actually, Morgan, Teller's thinking he hates that joke.
That may be my favorite bit. He wrote the whole thing.
Exactly. But we're going to experiment with some mind noodling. Are you a fan of Penn and Teller, Morgan?
Yes.
So am I. So before we get this experiment started with mind noodling, I want to see if we can get a picture with Penn and Teller, okay?
Okay.
All right, come on up here. All right, Morgan, switch places with me here. I'm going to take a selfie right here and mark this wonderful occasion. All right, here we go. Let me get in there. And beautiful. Now we're going to get to mind noodling, okay? Step one of mind noodling is reading your mind. Step two is the noodling part. Do you know what noodling is?
No.
Regular noodling is a kind of fishing where you find a wide-mouthed fish and you don't use a pole. You just shove your whole arm into that fish's mouth and you yank that muddy puppy out of the water. He stays on your arm and it's yours. Morgan, that's what I'm going to do to your mind.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to take my own thought and with my mental arm, shove it into your cat-mouth fish brain. Okay? All right? So what you're going to do is you're going to try to think of something and you're going to think you thought it. But in fact, I thought it and I put that thought in your brain.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Great. Take a look at Teller. I want you to think about how much he weighs. Now, Morgan, I realize I'm putting you on the spot here. I should let you take more of an educated guess. Teller has 2 pairs of cheeks. Go ahead and grab one of his cheeks. Nope. Morgan? No. His butt, Morgan. Grab his butt. Yes, seriously. Morgan, you should now have a pretty good idea of what Teller weighs. All right? But I know you do, because I put that thought in your mind. I don't want you to say it out loud.
Okay.
Because that'd be offensive to Teller, to guess his weight out loud to everybody here in this audience, okay? So you have a calculator on your phone?
Yes.
Open it up. Okay, and what I want you to do is just go right to the numbers and type in what you think he weighs. I don't want to look. Just type it in. It's in? Okay. Mind reading, success. Noodling, way off. I was off by 16 pounds on that guess, but I'll document for science. Minus 16. There we go. All right, Morgan, you and I are going to do better in round 2, okay?
Okay.
What I want you to do is I want you to take a look at Penn.
Are you gonna make me grab his butt cheek?
I'm going to make you do even more than that, Morgan. Just go ahead and give Penn a bear hug. Grab him and lift him up. Lift him up. Get that magical Yeti in the sky. Go.
I don't think I can.
I think you can try harder.
I think you could sell this bit for me.
Okay, Morgan, you have a pretty good idea of what you think Penn weighs?
Yes.
Okay, just hit the plus sign.
Okay.
And I don't want to look. Go ahead and enter it into the calculator. It's in.
Okay, yeah.
Woo! Morgan, mind reading success, and we're getting much closer on the noodling. I was only 7 pounds away from that last guess. You think you guessed Penn's weight, but your guess was influenced by my noodling. And I think we're going to nail it on round 3. Are you excited for round 3?
Yes.
I'm excited for round 3. You want to know why, Morgan? Round 3 is B. Okay?
Okay.
I've let you pinch Teller. I've let you squeeze Penn. Now, your choice, free choice. Do you want to ride me like a pony, or do you want me to ride you like a pony? You'll ride me like a pony?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. Smart choice, Morgan. I am an amazing pony.
So actually,
Come on, Morgan.
Nice battle.
Morgan. Okay. Morgan, great job. Okay. Now you should have a pretty good idea of what I weigh now. Yes?
yes.
Okay, Morgan.
I'm not good with weight.
Okay. Morgan, remember, hopefully I'm mind noodling. So whether you're good with weight or not, doesn't matter, because I put a thought in your brain.
Okay.
Go ahead.
215.
Go on. 215. 215 pounds. Do you all think Morgan came up with that figure on her own? Do you think, Morgan, that all of America's watching, looking at this frame and thinking I weigh 215 pounds? No, Morgan, we nailed it. It's a full noodle.
Okay.
Oh, Morgan, listen, I had faith in you. I had more faith in you than you could possibly imagine. I have a prediction that I put in place before this whole thing began. All right? And I sealed it on my flesh. I want you to hit the equals button on your calculator.
Okay.
And now, out loud, I want you to say that guess for everyone to hear.
580.
Boom. What? What'd you say?
580.
580? Okay. Oh, wait, Morgan. We didn't noodle all the way, right? We had some changes on here, right? So I had minus 16, I had minus 7. That would give me a total of minus 23. And I think 603 minus 23 gives me a total of 580. Penn, Teller, this trick is completely examinable. Nope. That's your. Yeah, okay.
Not totally, everyone. All right, I'll let you put yourself
What's up?
together.
What's going on?
Come here. You know how it works.
Oh, yes, I do.
So what's it it like performing for your friends Penn and Teller?
You know, I started magic basically on a dare by Penn. And so put a preview together of my first magic show. And so I can tell you, don't do your first magic show ever in front of Penn and Teller. Teller taught me a rope trick with a knife. I cut my finger open. I bled all over myself, and it did not go well at all. I'm very happy to get back here and at least do something pretty good in front of them.
All right, let's see if your friends Penn and Teller figured it out.
All right.
All right, Penn, Teller, this guy.
What the hell are you doing? Matt Donnelly is my co-host on Penn Sunday School. We do a podcast together every single week. And yet, he has been keeping this from me for months that he's showing up on this show. Oh, I'm learning magic. I'm working on a few new things, Penn. I hope you get to see him someday. Won't that be fun? What tricks you working on, Matt? Oh, you know, just stuff. So you come here after co-hosting my show for what, 7 years? And you've got a trick you're trying to sneak by me? I'll tell you, Matt, it's amazing. It's pretty amazing because we've done a beautiful performance that absolutely killed. I gotta tell you, it's astonishing in every single way, but you thinking you can fool us, you rat bastard? I'll tell you, it's a great trick, but it didn't add up. And if you think you fooled us, I'm gonna punch you in the face. It does not add up. You did not fool us. Isn't that right, Matt?
It's true. Busted. But it was my lifelong dream to perform for you guys. That's not true either. Because I just started a year ago. But it was my lifelong dream to be ridden like a pony on national TV. So I thank you. I thank you.
Thermos Jack is saying, like, I don't understand how I was supposed to fool them. Like, they know how he did the trick. If it has to be spelled out, secretly, Penn and Teller fool us. The conceit is not the actual purpose. The actual purpose is to do a magic show, to have wonderful showcases of incredible talent, all made to look their best in the best operating conditions. The conceit, there's the story you tell, and then there's the real story. This story that we tell on the Mono Rogue is that we're two people on a quest to become ultimate badasses, gentleman, warrior, scoundrel. The real story is we're two 40-plus-year-old man babies who don't know how to tie our own shoes. Same thing. Scam School is secretly a show where it's beginning lessons of magic, but we would never say that. So instead, what we say is it's about social engineering at the bar and on the street, right? Penn and Teller fool us. It's not actually about fooling them. Anybody who plays that game trying to fool Penn and Teller, those are consistently the worst bits. They're the worst performers. They get into pedantic arguments about whether they did or didn't fool them or whatever. The good performers are people who understand it's just an awesome showcase and that they are going to make them look very, very good. And so in this case, you'll notice that all of Matt's phrasing was not about fooling him. He didn't, and in fact, I did the same thing. I refused to play the fooling them game. But Matt specifically said, I am definitely confident that I will surprise them. He refused to use the word fool. He said, I'm there to surprise them. Yeah.
So wait, so what's the real story versus the presented story of Night Attack?
The presented story is that we're cackling while the internet burns. That we're laughing at. The real story is that we know we are they and they are us.
You think we're laughing at the internet?
No. That's what we outwardly project.
No. You think that we present that?
Yeah. Our show is called Night Attack. We thank the demon hordes.
That was like the third version of it.
Our show is called Night Attack. We thank the demon hordes of the internet as we bring the best of the worst of the internet. And then we get folks like Tomcat on and we shower him with praise and love and tell him how he's the best part of the universe. Like, have you not figured that out?
He's choking it out with you.
Okay, all right,
man.
All right.
Come on, man.
Sorry.
Are you throwing fires? Who the fuck? Which side are you on?
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. We should do that.
There is no musical curse on this show. I broke my pop socket.
No, yeah, we present to the outside world that
so the story is mean, but we're nice.
Correct. It's the same as Howard Stern. Howard Stern is, oh my God, you're doing Howard Stern. And then every time somebody goes on, Howard Stern makes them feel loved and comfortable and talks them into a place where they feel comfortable exposing their real selves.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that tracks. This is why you're good at this, man. I'm not. You're fucking good at it.
We are fucking good.
No, I just cum jokes. That was fucking awesome.
That's cool.
Matt is awesome, and God, if every mentalist in the world was like Matt, then people wouldn't fucking hate mentalism. Like if every mentalist gave as much heart and thought to like human emotion and how they're gonna react and making these like decisions mean and matter. It's like, you know, what I made fun of when I thought of the all set up magician was all just how useless the comedy was, how fucking useless and ridiculous all setups to mentalism acts are, right? And it's like, you notice in that bit, every single thing created its own little drama. Like, will she pinch Teller's butt? Will she lift Penn? Will she call Matt fat? Like, all these things that are like very understood. It's rude to pinch a butt. It's rude to lift somebody. It's rude to call somebody fat. Now this lady is in this situation. She's walking through every step for what is a fairly, like, you know, these are mentalism tricks that all mentalism tricks on some level are complicated routes to, I got the answer, right? Awesome. Fucking great job by him.
Yeah, so I think this is within bounds if out of school talk, but I think we were talking about it before you joined us. Like, Matt confessed that he knew his bit was longer. He was going to run long. And his fingers crossed hope was that there was no fat to trim and that they would be forced to shorten his intro package and just get straight to the performance for a longer time. And guess how it turned out?
Yeah, because that's a long. I mean, the whole video is 11 minutes. That's half of a half-hour show.
Yeah, and well deserved. And there's not a moment of fat to trim.
No, I mean, unless you were to, you can't actually, because everything comes down to that number, and the number is on his chest at the end and his belly after that. So it's
like if you were going to trim something, you would trim that selfie moment at the beginning, but there's a reason that stays in there so that, you know, for fairness purposes, right?
Oh, ooh. Ooh. No, done.
Well, I mean, it was literally a scam school episode. It's so like okay, all right.
Come on,
that's
right. I can keep going louder.
You'll be able to go even louder when there's no children in the house. It's gonna be great.
I'm very sorry, kids. Please get plenty of sleep.
Oh man. Oh, guys, we're at the beginning of something really special. I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be fun.
Facts. Dude, that's so rad. It's so rad to see Matt doing that. And my only thought that isn't just unrestrained praise is like, God damn it! I hope he keeps doing that shit. Like literally, like
if I was gonna guess, this is speculation, but. I can't speak for Matt, but I can speak for Brian. And Brian, at the age of 20, knew that doing a Tonight Show gig equaled money in the bank in terms of legitimacy and opportunity and doors opening. And there's a difference between handing somebody a videotape that has 3 or 4 bits from your stage show, you know, shot on VHS at a local, you know, black box theater, and handing somebody, you know, 7 clips from TV stuff or whatever. So if I were Matt Donnelly, I would assume his next move is, okay, what are 4 more bits I can do on various television shows? How do I get to that perfect 3-minute to 5-minute reel of nothing but TV hits?
Because also he doesn't need to even do, like, he could do 3 local TV things, right? Like he could do local Vegas, and then next time that him and Piff are on the road, like try to book whatever, you know, when he's on the road, some local TV thing. And now it's just 3 different sets that are obviously on television with Penn and Teller anchoring it. And it's like, that'll get you booking comedy clubs, right? Like,
and
comedy magician.
If I mean, also, I can't speak for Matt, but I can speak for Brian. If Brian had 2 young children and liked staying in the city of Las Vegas, then it seems to me like you round up a bunch of appearances, get yourself a healthy reel, and there's no shortage of shows that need an opener around town. And that seems like a fine way to get all that flight time to get to the chrome-like polish of your act, and then, you know, take it on the road or wherever.
Yeah.
I mean, God, there are so few people in Magic that give a fuck about the setups at all. Give a fuck about like all the, like, everything in Magic. The best people are the ones that understand that 90% of your show is the things that get you to the 10% that magicians really care about. Magicians care about the God moment at the end where they're fucking Christ and everybody's cheering for them because they're so smart and amazing and are able to do miracles, right?
Right.
What is amazing about Matt is he realizes, like, wait, but that's 90% where I'm not doing anything. There's 90% where I'm just like, oh, let me take a ticket, give a ticket, take a ticket, give a ticket, take a ticket, give a ticket. I have all the tickets. Hooray. Right? Like, that's what we need. He is, I mean, to be totally honest, that's what made Amazing Jonathan great, is he realized that, like, hey, look, if I get something right every 3 tricks, I'm fucking awesome as long as all the rest of the shit is hilarious.
Right. Did you ever watch the other documentary?
I got about 20 minutes into it.
You got enough to get the gist. We get it.
Well,
He's great.
I don't want to shit on it because the more I've read into it, the more I tend to have more sympathy for that director than I do the director of the Hulu one. Although I think the Hulu documentary is a far superior kind of like product. But I don't know. It was just slow and I did not have the time. Also, I was streaming when I was watching it. Literally, somebody sent it to me and I wound up watching 20 minutes. So I'll tell you what, I wound up watching 18 minutes more than I thought I was going to, because I initially thought I was just watching a trailer. And the next thing you know, I was 20 minutes into the movie and I'm like, oh shit, this isn't a trailer. And I just never went back to it.
We could ask the chat room how many of them, just yes or no, are you guys watching The Righteous Gemstones?
We're covering it on Chordkillers, chordkillers.com. Spoiler time.
And we're also covering it constantly nonstop on our podcast called Every Phone Call That We Have with Each Other.
See, we got about 50-50 so far.
It's 50-50. Really great.
It is shockingly 50-50. Oh, it really is a good show. I like it. I don't think I have the same reaction you do to it.
I think I love,
but I don't. Do you have like a background with some of that?
No. Well, I think both Justin and I were raised Methodist, so a lot of that smells familiar to us. But also, I think for both of us, what's attractive to it is the genuine darkness that buys the genuine laughs that we get. I don't think the laughs would land if it didn't have the gut punching parts, and the gut punching parts are pretty gut punchy.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. And you said you never watched Vice Principals, right?
No, but I hear good things about
it. It's interesting because it's been a while since I watched that first season of Vice Principals, and they made the second season was like the final season of it, which I didn't finish watching. But that feels very similar. I mean, it's.
Codes from Home corrects me. I think you're right. Codes from Home. The dancing Satanists are almost certainly a reference to the goth dancers.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right. Which although the moves are almost identical, because there was a Reddit thread on Techno Viking, because it was the 10-year anniversary of that clip. And so I ended up watching the full unedited clip. And so as a result, like that's what I was primed for when I saw it. I'm like, oh, it's the Techno Viking moves. But then when you showed me the
it's definitely the
techno
cyber
dance,
goths Vine thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although much tighter. like these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Lucifer. So good.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I love that world. I love like the idea, especially. By the way, do you realize that like this week, like real life Righteous Gemstone shit playing out? Jerry Falwell Jr., who runs Liberty University, the religious college founded from Jerry Falwell.
I played.
You played Liberty?
I'm almost certain I did.
In the Virginia, right? The foothills of Virginia, the Black Mountains or whatever.
If there's another college in the same town, it might be that there's another college in the same town right next to Liberty that would share like the same hotel or whatever.
Wow, I didn't see this. That FBI to investigate criminal conspiracy. No, there was a controversy where there was a Politico article about how he's like a bullying fucking asshole, and he diverts money from the church to his friends or whatever. And they found a picture of him at a South Beach nightclub with his son. There's also a scandal about the fact that he was really close with a pool boy at a South Beach hotel to the tune that he financed a $1.6 million buyout of a hostel on South Beach for the pool boy to run. But it was a very interesting Politico article, and he snapped back that these pictures of him in this nightclub were not him, and if they looked like him, they were Photoshopped. And that is what set the South Beach party photographer off, because he could handle saying, that's not me. He could not handle somebody saying that he, the person who took the picture, Photoshopped Jerry Falwell Jr. into it. So he found every other photo that was taken at that particular night at that nightclub and found 4 other photos where Jerry Falwell Jr. is in it. This is notable in that if you are a student of Liberty University, dancing will get you demerits, and I guess enough demerits will get you tossed out of school.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking I didn't play Liberty, but it must have been the other college in that same town. Although, I'll tell you what, man.
Justice.
Look, that kind of level of scrutiny, man, that's why you should never take donations, because then people expect you to... So anyway, if you go to scamstuff.com...
Money, please!
Yeah.
I promise, I solemnly swear to be up to no good.
There we go.
You're going to get sued for that one, too!
Oh, that's a business plan. You thought it was just a way to open a map?
Hey, remember the aughts, Brian?
Yeah, sure.
Aughts.
Yeah.
Remember the name Valerie Plame?
No.
Valerie Plame was a CIA operative who was outed.
Oh, that's right. By some journalist. Like it was ugly petty politics.
William Sapphire, I think, was the guy who actually published it. But Scooter Libby and Dick Cheney were the ones that were apparently behind it. Well, Valerie Plame's running for Congress now, Brian.
Well,
and she's got a hell of a campaign video. If you can look that one up.
Oh,
there,
we got
guys.
it right here. It's called Undercover. Let's pull it up on the.
So this is somebody who is unfairly outed, putting her in danger.
There's nuance to that. I'd prefer that you just watch the campaign video.
Okay,
here we go.
I was an undercover CIA operative. My assignment was preventing rogue states and terrorists from getting nuclear weapons. You name a hotspot, I lived it. Then Dick Cheney's chief of staff took revenge against my husband and leaked my identity. His name, Scooter Libby. Guess who pardoned him last year? I come from Ukrainian Jewish immigrants. Dad was in the Air Force. My brother almost died in Vietnam. My service was cut short when my own government betrayed me. We left Washington to raise our kids in New Mexico, one of the best places on earth. Now I'm running for Congress because we're going backwards on national security, healthcare, and women's rights. We need to turn our country around. And yes, the CIA really does teach us how to drive like this. You've probably heard my name.
And Mr. President, I've got a few scores to settle.
Wait, didn't she say that the president pardoned her husband?
No, pardon Scooter Libby, who leaked her name.
Okay.
According to that ad.
Got it.
Wouldn't you, if the car is
there was
going...
like maybe 3 more names than I needed to hear, because at some point I was like, oh shit, is this some Game of Thrones shit? I wasn't taking notes. I mean, I get that you're driving cool.
Here's the thing, though. If the car's going backwards and you're turning the car around, you don't need to turn the car. You don't need to do a J-turn. You can just stop, put it into drive.
Okay, number one, that doesn't look cool. Do you know what that move is called?
Was that not a J-turn? That was some sort of whip.
No, because I put it up on the Free Political newsletter and I called it stunt driving, and then I got multiple emails saying, "Fucking a blank is stunt driving now."
Oh, no, I don't know the name of it. I don't. Do you know? Are you asking me because you know?
No, yeah, no, I know.
Oh.
Apparently, it's called a bootlegger turn.
Oh, I wouldn't know that.
Neither did I, but apparently multiple people who read my fucking newsletter did and emailed me independently about it.
Okay.
So, okay, I feel...
No, you and many others emailed me and were apparently very of the mind that is not stunt driving. It's fucking stunt driving to me. As far as I can see, it looks like, I mean, some shit that you would see in a movie, and that's what I would consider stunt driving.
She did it on film.
I'm of conflicted minds because the producer in me really loves that she's telling her story effectively with compelling visuals that keep everybody engaged.
Yes.
The diplomat in me is horrified that this is how we race to idiocracy, as this becomes the way we elect people. Who has the best trailer?
I mean, we will see whether or not she plays in that district. I have not done a lot of reading into whether or not she even has a shot in the district that she's running in. There are some factual. Let me put it this way: Valerie Plame and her husband have always known exactly where the spotlight is and known how to position themselves best for it. There was a famous magazine, either spread or cover, of them while this was all going on, of them like leaving Washington in this glamorous kind of Kennedy-esque sort of portrait. This is more of that. There is a Scooter Libby was pardoned, but he was not pardoned for leaking her name. He was never convicted of or proven that he was the one that leaked her name. Many people think it. That's not the case. Certainly, that is something that she leads people to believe in the thing. I don't know, though. But as far as I can tell, that the ad looks like a goddamn movie. It certainly talks like a goddamn Mission Impossible movie.
The video is fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Also, I liked all of those policy positions she took in that video.
Right?
My policy is
going backwards, Brian, and you know it because she's driving her car backwards.
My policy is people shouldn't out me on the road. Also, my policy is that I'm awesome at driving. Also, my policy is who wants to punch Donald Trump in the nose? Am I right?
Yeah. The CIA really does, because it even does that little wink, like, yes, the CIA really does teach us to drive like this, because I'm a badass. Oh, by the way, wait, what happened to that North Carolina election?
Oh, I don't know. It was breaking, developing race alert.
Hey, have any of you guys watched Patriot?
watched the first episode. Are you watching it?
No, I have heard just so much good stuff though. I'm thinking about diving in.
Wait, which one? Patriot?
Patriot, yeah.
It is an Amazon Prime original. It's about a spy,
former operative that is just,
and he's kind of
singing weird songs and dealing with PTSD.
Yeah, but they send him out on another mission, and he also and he sings.
He's got
songs.
like dad issues as well,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
His dad is the one trying to convince him, like, well, why don't you go put your life in danger one more time?
Yeah, something like that. But Trey and his girlfriend are big Patriot fans.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the watch because I mean it's a spy show. Look, it's a spy show.
The guy who did Patriot has a new thing coming out, like I've already forgotten the name. It's some kind of beautiful name.
Let me see here. Stephen Conrad, who created it.
Okay.
Working on Perpetual Grace Limited.
There we go.
This is coming to Epix June 2nd. Oh, it came to Epix June 2nd. Okay, James, a young grifter, as he attempts to prey upon Pastor Byron Brown, who turns out to be far more dangerous than he suspects. Huh. That's a line.
Hey,
Epic,
Justin.
you say?
Yeah.
Thing I never thought I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're wrapping up Preacher.
Man, you've really got me down about even watching this last season.
I mean, go ahead and watch. My guess is it'll get the binge upgrade, right? Because you won't have to wait or whatever. But it's like, it's 6 episodes of dicking around. With a few, each episode has at least one moment that's kind of cool. But if you just burn through that, like, it does get like, okay, now we're getting somewhere on episode 7. So my guess is we're just gonna wrap this thing on.
I'm going to suspect, based on you saying that things aren't happening, that the thing that really defined the climactic moments of the comic series, which is something that was like a simmering element throughout the entire television series, of the fact that like the Tulip, Cassidy, Preacher sort of like love triangle, like at a certain point in the series or in the comic run, she just lives with Cassidy. Like Jesse is just off doing his own thing, and things get like really bad for Cassidy and Tulip. And I'm suspecting, based on how you've talked about this season, that is not something that defines this particular these particular episodes.
There's maybe 2 episodes of hinting at that vibe. There's 2 episodes out of the first 6 where Cassidy and Tulip are together, and they're all like, "Oh man, Jesse, right? I guess we gotta go try to find him and take care of him or whatever." But there's sort of a kinship between the two of them, but it's nothing sexual. Although you could tell there's a longing from Cassidy's part for sure.
Yeah, no, this is like straight out Tulip chooses Cassidy, but it turns out that it's basically like choosing heroin, and they just like are
bad for each other.
This like, yeah, they're just bad for each other. And that's where like all the bad guys of the first season, that all comes from this run very late in the series in the comic.
When Jesse's out on his own.
Where Jesse's out on his own, and now he's just sheriff of this small town, and he runs into this meat packing magnate asshole, and like that, all that shit comes from there. But then like the big moment at the end of this like on the road story where they're all doing like all this shit together is them finally coming back, and also it's this big Jesse Cassidy conflict.
Yeah, there's in the 4th season, it takes until the 7th episode, this most recent one, that they flatly say, okay, it's got to be our guy against this guy, and then you finally have clarity of, you know, who to root for and what.
Yeah, because they really did run through their villains, and they never got to the Marquis de Sade or or Jesus de Sade, did they?
I don't think so.
Him
I don't think this is much of a spoiler, but we do get to spend a lot of time with the actual Jesus Christ in
no.
season.
There's another character called like Jesus de Sade that is like this like super fucked up, like
evil
hedonist.
Jesus.
Yeah, like he's this part of the church like organization, but he is like the worst of the worst of like shit that you read that happens in the Bible.
So in again, I don't think this is a spoiler, but in the fourth season, they sort of introduced this thread that I didn't see in any of the previous ones of Herr Starr being vain and upset that his good looks have been ruined, and he increasingly makes decisions with the character motivation of, and then I'll be made beautiful again. And I'm like, Herr Starr is fairly flatly portrayed as a stoic, gives two shits just about getting the thing done in the first 3 seasons. And so as a result, it all rings false, all of those motivations, when he's like, well, then I'll be made beautiful again. Because like in the 3rd season, he gets the cut on his head that makes him look like a giant penis and all that stuff. And he seems to be, like he gets raped in the 2nd season, and he's just like, ugh, this is happening, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, when he gets bitched out at the end of the 3rd season, like that was like the first moment where it's like, okay, well, I guess we're kind of changing. We're fundamentally like drawing the lines around his character, that like this guy who is like organizing a soft coup won't, like at the 11th hour when he's the one that has to pull the trigger, like do it. He'll actually just go get coffee and donuts for the boss if it's not somebody else that's going to be the one that does it. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll watch it at some point once I'm done with all these other shows.
Yeah. Meryl Barr won't give up on Undone. Are you familiar with Undone? Have you seen the trailer for it?
No, what is it?
Oh, take a look. In fact, maybe it's fun to watch it not knowing a goddamn thing about it.
Wait, should I watch it?
Oh,
now?
no.
You're gonna have to give me some time to do that.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a subtle cue to Bryce, and I should have kept the conversation alive. But I will keep it alive by saying thank you to everybody who's decided to join the Founders Club during this broadcast. That's fucking great.
Here's Undone, coming to Amazon Prime Video.
I'm so bored of living. I wake up every morning in the same bed, I get dressed, and I eat the same breakfast and then take the same commute to work. I'm 28 years old and I'm terrified this is all there is. Dad. Is this a dream?
Well, partly.
I know 2 weeks is a long time for me to be away.
If you're feeling weird about anything, just come talk to me and we'll figure it out.
You don't need to worry about me because I'm pretty much okay.
Pretty much.
You're fine, right?
I just feel like everyone's messing with me.
You're acting even stranger than usual. You usually act even stranger than usual. But since the accident, you have been acting more even stranger than usual
I'm seeing my dead father.
I wasn't in an accident. I was killed.
And he's training me to travel in time
With your ability, we can change what happened.
so I can save him from being murdered.
You're pushing yourself too hard.
What are you doing to me? I can't do this. I can't keep ending up places, seeing stuff and missing things.
It's all about your emotions. You need to feel them without letting them become you.
How do I do that?
Just deep breaths.
Hey, baby cakes.
Streams of lifetimes of suffering are carried through your mind and body. Even the good feelings. You have to let go of those too. They can't be who you are if you want to be free.
Of course. The only one in my family who believes in me is the dead one.
For now.
Dude, that shit looks dope.
Right? It's like just when you thought you were interested, it's like, how can we make you more interested?
Well, at least it's taking advantage of the animation idea.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Was it Waking Life, the Richard Linklater one?
I never saw that one, but I did see A Scanner Darkly, which used the same technique.
Sure.
Who voices the father? That's the great Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk. Yeah. And then it was the Hamilton guy. That's the friend who was in Blind Spotting. But yeah, like in Waking Life, and I guess Scanner Darkly to a certain extent, like it's mostly just like costumes or whatever. It's like it never really took full advantage of like, why are you doing this as an animation besides like, I don't know, a vaguely unsettling feeling, I guess. But that's like, oh, why are you doing animation? Oh, because we're fucking going through dimensions and fucking like doing all this shit, and we want to have this like very dreamlike world where you are both totally dialed in on the realism, but also know that something's off, which is what our character's going through. That's fucking dope.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I even thought about putting this in the show, but there was no organic moment for it. My favorite moment on Twitter this week was a week ago, I watched that first episode of The Dark Crystal, and I tweeted out, quote, weirder, make it weirder, overheard in the Dark Crystal writer's room, right?
Yeah.
And then a couple days ago, I'm looking at my activity feed, and I'm seeing all these retweets and likes or whatever, and then I see a flurry of blue check marks, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Did you make more showrunner friends, you scamp?
Like a bunch of apparently a bunch of people who were actually in the writer's room found that tweet and seemed to appreciate it, which made me very happy.
That's fucking awesome.
Also, there's apparently I haven't seen the rest of it, but there was like some clickbaity headline on Google News that says like the secret of the Skeksis that even Netflix doesn't know the answer to, and then I go and it's definitely, I get as far as seeing that it's a picture of a moment of a Skeksis taking a leak and there are 3 streams of urine. And I'm just like, well, yes, of course they're not gonna have an answer for that. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It was cum.
Every time they pee from their
We're out on that. No, we're
all right. It was cum. It was cum. Goodbye.
Good night,
Love you guys.
everybody.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Every night I'm feeling something.